Welcome to our final presentation video. We are the CaptionCall team, and we are excited to present you our application. But before we do, we're going to introduce ourselves.
Hello, I'm Amitaj Singh. One of my hobbies is to fish, and I really like to do mobile and web application development.
Hello, my name is Jimmy Trin. I am a student here at the University of Utah in computer science. My area of interest is in mobile app development as well as web development, and I am interested in playing tennis.
I'm Vista Marston. I am a computer science student at the University of Utah, and on my free time, I do research and mountain biking.
Hi, I'm Hunter Watrin. I'm also a computer science student at the University of Utah, and I also like web and mobile development, but I also enjoy doing things like graphics and making games.
So we're sponsored by a company called CaptionCall. Now, CaptionCall provides technology that transcribes what is being said as being said in real time. In order to increase the accuracy of this technology, they need to collect natural one-sided conversations in order to increase and better their current technology and models. We were tasked with creating an application that would collect natural one-sided conversations from our users. Our solution to this would be creating a journal and diary application that would allow users to simply talk into the application in order to make the entries that they need to make. This way, we're collecting natural one-sided conversation for the users, and users are able to talk into the application for a long time without having to actually conversate with anyone else. Now, in doing our user studies, we came up with a list of desirable features that our users really wanted to see implemented into our application. These include things like customizability of the application, so things such as being able to customize your theme and being able to customize the size of your fonts, as well as other things such as user privacy. Now, I'll pass it off to Hunter to talk about some of the other features that we implemented into our application.
All right, so some of the key features to set our app apart from other journaling applications. The first one is that our journal application is audio only, so users will record audio entries and they can listen back to them, or they can read back the transcripts of those recordings that they did. And this is obviously to help CaptionCall with collecting data to train their speech-to-text models. Next, what you can see in the second screen here is we made a stats page, as was one of the more highly recommended features on the slide before. And what this will do is it gives them things like you can see like the words they use the most. It will give them a positivity score to say, to give them a trend of how positive their entries are, and different information like that users might think it's fun to collect. Next, you can see we have the community. And what the community is it allows users to share audio messages between each other. So users can record a message, and then the transcript as well as the recording will be shared with other members of the group, so they can all have a community journal and talk about things that are going on for them. Finally, we have the entry summary, which this is similar to the stats page, but it just provides statistics to the users based on the entry that they just did. And finally, one feature that we mentioned at the bottom here but don't show on a screen is data privacy, since that was one of the, I think probably the most important feature to users, is to make sure their data is safe and secure.
Okay, now we're going to go into the actual demo of the application. As a journaling application, one of the main features and one of the first things that a user may want to do is actually add an entry to a specific day. They do this by simply pressing the add button at the bottom, and then here users are prompted to start recording to make an actual entry that they want to make. I'll go ahead and press record, and now I'll say something like, "The happy cow jumps over the moon." All right, go ahead and pause that. Now, users have the ability to continue recording once they pause it, or they have the ability to simply just press done. I'll go ahead and press done. Now here, as Hunter said, we get to see a lot of our statistics on the actual entries that we just made, including things such as the sentiment. Go ahead and press done. And that's how you make an entry. And when users are back home, they have the ability to actually replay the entry that they just made by simply selecting the play button. And now I'll say something like, "The happy cow jumps over the moon." Users have the ability to play that, pause that, and scrub through the actual audio in order to get to where they need to get to listen to the audio of the entries that they just made. Now, for an application where entries can get dense and where users can have a lot of entries, being able to actually maneuver through these dates is something that is very important and something that we valued a lot. Because of this, we implemented a calendar page. Now, a calendar page would be something that would allow users to simply jump to a specific day that they want to without actually having to scroll through the actual dates to get where they need to go. To actually get to a date, they simply have to select the day. They will be brought to that specific day. Now, the calendar will enable any days that actually have an entry and will disable any days that don't have an entry. All right, and now I'll pass it out to Vista to talk about our settings page and some of the features that our settings include.
Yes, so our settings page can be accessed up and using the settings icon up in the top corner. So there's many options that can happen when we're doing the settings page. The first one is we can customize. So this was a highly desirable feature that a lot of users actually wanted. So they can come in here and click a lot of colors that can set their application. In addition, they also wanted to be able to do the font sizes as well. And so you can also come in here and change the font size. So if we go back, we also have the option to control how many audio files are on your actual local device. We understand as developers that audio files, they take up a lot of space. We gave users a couple of different options. The first one is setting a default syncing rate. This means from when you sign into the application, given that date, how many days back would you like us to pull the audio files down onto your application? And we give 3 days, 7 days, 30 days. In addition, if you want dates outside of that range, that maybe you've cleared your cache and you don't have those audio files, you can come in here and select the dates from our calendar, any date that you want, to be able to grab that selected date. We can also come in here, if you don't have any audio files on your application, you can see the syncing button. This allows you to get that specific date. So the other settings that we have is for controlling data privacy. This was another big concern that users actually wanted for the application. So we created a 4-digit PIN that when users first sign in, they have to create. When you lock your phone, you're not able to go back to any other page, and so you need that 4-digit PIN to be able to unlock. But if you forgot your 4-digit PIN, you can reset it by using this, or you can unlock using biometrics if it's allowed on your phone. This is the same when you're trying to reset your password. You can come in here and you're given an option to enter your previous 4-digit PIN, or you can use your biometrics to then come in and create a new PIN. Then it will redirect me to be able to create a PIN. The last option that we have in our settings is this notification page. So we have 2 different types of push notifications for our users. One, we can allow you to be able to see community messages coming in, or daily reminders that you should log into your personal entries. And so to turn these on or off, you can just toggle them just like this. Now I'm going to pass it off to Jimmy to talk about his portion.
So we'll go ahead and show off our community feature. We go ahead and click on community here at the bottom. These 2 devices are on separate accounts so that they can communicate with each other. So if we want to invite this user, on this device, we can hit the plus button to create a new community. So if I go ahead and make a new community, we'll go ahead and enter its username in. So if we go ahead and hit add user, this user is now added to this community that we will create, and we could go ahead and create that here. With that community created, we should see an invite here shortly on this device. So since we see the group invitation here on this device, we'll go ahead and click accept to accept this new community group. So we can go ahead and open it up. So these 2 are connected in the same group. If we go ahead and make a new recording, testing, 1, 2, 3, we will instantly see it show up on this device. So we could see that who sent the message and who's receiving it. So we can also send it back with another message over on this device, and we will see that message pop up on both devices. And I will pass it off to Hunter to show off our community settings.
Okay, so now you'll notice there's a difference between these 2 screens, and that's because this person is the owner of the group. And so because of that, they have access to the settings here. So here is where I could come and add a different user if I wanted to. You can click add user, and then it's successfully added, and I accidentally clicked it twice, so now it's telling me that I would have needed to enter a username. So now if I go back and I want to remove a user, I can go ahead and we'll boot Yelping Termite over there. And then if Yelping Termite leaves the group and they try to come back, then they no longer have access to the group. And finally, if I'm done with this group, I don't want it anymore, I can go ahead and delete it, but I'm not going to do that. And so I click back, and then we're back at the page. And also another feature that we wanted to show, we have these messages we sent here. We can listen to them optionally, but also we can simply view a transcript. We have these nice message boxes similar to the Android text messages with audio. And so you can just read the transcription quickly if you're not in a place where you can listen to the message. Finally, this brings us to our last page. We'll come to the stats here. As you can see, we have a really nice looking page here. Here we have a graph showing our average entry count. We have the top 6 words that were used. You can see hello is the most common, followed by a bunch more in a nice looking pie chart. And then finally, we have positivity scores, which aren't showing here. And then lastly, we have an hourly breakdown. And so these are all things the users can look at to know. All right, and now I will pass off to Jimmy to talk about the different tools we used.
We aren't using React Native on our front end that works on both iOS as well as Android. On our back end, we are utilizing Node.js for all our API endpoints. Our team is using Firebase for our audio and data storage so that we can hand it off to CaptionCall, and we're using Google Authentication for our security as well as login. We are also using Google Cloud Natural Language API for text-to-speech, as well as our sentiment analysis. Over the course of this 16 week that we've been working on this project, we have completed over 140 issues on our GitLab, as well as committing 560 times. We also have test suite set up for our CI and CD pipelines, and I will pass it off to Vista for closing remarks.
We just wanted to say thank you so much for watching our presentation about our final project that we put so much time into it. We wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for CaptionCall and the University of Utah School of Computing. So we also wanted to extend a thanks and acknowledgement for all of their support for this project. Thank you.